Hey folks, it's Rithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to City Skylines. Our lake is... well, the lake is not doing too bad. The river is flooding quite a bit at the moment. We've got a lot of excess water coming down here, which is flooding over absolutely everything. The lake itself seems to be doing alright, and it's holding the right level that we want, essentially. The water is now flowing into the lake rather than out of it, although we do have some flooding issues over here, which we're going to have to deal with. And we've also got some flooding issues over here, because the main lake, this one up here, is now slightly over capacity. So it's just coming out over the edge here, and it's flooding the wealthy parts of town over this side. We've still got some flooding coming on over here, but this is mostly going to be dealt with very quickly now, because we're going to build that up along there, and then that should get rid of all of the flooding. All of this here was flooded. That was all underwater, as well as everything up here. That's all now been taken care of. So at the moment, we seem to be doing well. Our sort of slow build as we've gone back around through seems to have paid off. We seem to have been able to rectify most of the issues that we've had. And I'm thinking of leaving that in there. Just kind of not doing very much to it. I'm not really sure at the moment. We've got this big gully down through there, but I don't really know what else I want to do with it at the moment. So that one I'm leaving open-ended at the minute. But no, what we want to do first thing today is we do want to go back to landscaping and disasters. I do just want to say I've got several new names in the Great Book of Names. So I want to create some new zones just to give those new additions to the book a place on the map, and then we'll carry on sort of working our way through the other names so that everybody who's in the Great Book of Names has got a zone that can clearly be seen. And I did do some statues and stuff, but I'd like to have some zones made up. So what I was going to do, the very first thing I was going to do, because I was talking about having a big commercial zone over here, as well as maybe some more industry as well. So the first thing I thought I would do, actually, is just make some zones over here. And it's not going to be anything particularly fancy. I was just going to do this. I was just going to sort of do a series of squares over here. Not even squares, just a series of shapes, really. Just random kind of plonked shapes down here. And give them all different names. So that we've got a whole load of different names from the Great Book of Names. And then there's more being used. So I can actually use up all of the names in the book. And also, I did want to do it over here, because this is kind of where I was planning to expand quite a chunk of the city. Or at least some parts of it. And bring a big piece over here. So I've got a series of them there. We've got another one up here. And I'm going to be doing more stuff to it later. I will add other parts of the city elsewhere, and then we can name those zones. But I thought it'd be nice just to be able to get a few names in here from the Big Book of Names, because I've got this Big Book of Names, and I've been rather guilty lately of not using it anywhere near as much as I feel I should, because I know that it does actually mean quite a bit to quite a number of people. So I need to make sure that I'm using this book more and naming more things in all of the games that I play. So we've got a whole load of them there. Let's do some more down here. Get some of these going down here. There we go. Oh, no. That's, No, I can do it like this. I can just start there like that, can't I? And then I can remove it back like that. There we go. We have a large selection of people here who now all have districts. Many of these will be familiar. New ones that have been added to the list are Jamie Burt, TH, Marcus Crawford, JMP Tonzatube, and Hans Stager. Some of these should have already been on the list. In particular, Marcus Crawford and Hans Stager should have been on the list quite a little while ago, but unfortunately I overlooked them. I do apologise. But yeah, as I've said right from the beginning, I am only human. I will make many mistakes getting this list compiled and so on. So just bear with me. So we've got a whole load of people over there, and we will be doing something with that, so those districts will all be used. And now what we want to do is we want to get back into this over here. So we've got power there that is going to need to be joined back over this side, but we don't need to do it just yet. So if I go to you and I take that one, we want the brush strength to go back down to 0.04 is a pretty good strength, although I was doing it at 0.6 last time, which worked fairly well. And we want the brush width to be around about 100. That seems to be fairly reasonable, just a fraction over 100. Ooh, okay. We also need to set the actual height of the terrain, which is going to be there, 175, roughly. Actually, I want it slightly higher than that, and I do have it slightly higher. If I go up this way, there, 176. It's tiny. It's only a little tiny bit in it, but it does make a difference. And then we can bring that up. See, 0.6 is stronger than I actually need. It makes a difference. Going 0.6, 0.4 up to 0.6 does actually make a significant difference. I'm going to have to change that in the water there that I've just done. I'm not happy with how that's just come out. So move this across here like this. And just fill that bit in. I'm going to go right the way over to this little hill over here. And then we'll go back into the river channel and just sort of fill that bit in again. So we've got that done correctly, how I'd like it to be done. So there, we'll bring that one up. So we've got a decent solid wall up on that now. And then if I go over here and I right click in the bottom of the river there, and then I come through, it's just going to get rid of these little humps here on the side. And if you go too much into the bank, it will start taking that down a bit, which I don't want to do. But I do want to just carve out a little bit of this channel here just to allow space for water to flow. And it doesn't have to be particularly grand. I don't have to have like loads of it. But just coming out a little bit I feel would be a good idea. Now, I'm only going to come up to there. That's actually there is higher than down here, so I don't need to change that by very much. And then I can come back up to there and I can change it again. We've got 175 on there. 176 there. See, you can see the exact terrain height on there. You right click when you're using this one and it does work really well. I like this. This is a particularly good one. You can set that height. I mean, you can use this one here, but it doesn't have a terrain height. This one here sets it at a particular height. And I prefer it. It makes life a lot easier using this one than it does trying to do it with anything else. So bring that along there like that. And we can run it along here, along this edge. And it'll run along quite smoothly along there. It's not any like major issues filling in that bit there. And we come up to this point. Now, this is the bit that I'm unsure of what I should do. I'm still debating with myself what exactly we're going to do with this part here. Because if I leave it open, what I'm going to need to do is go back upstream and fill it all in all the way along here. I don't really want to have to do that. I'd rather not do that at all. If I block it off completely, I'm going to end up with hardly any water in there at all. There's hardly going to be anything there, and it's not really going to be worth bothering with. So, what do? I mean, I could fill it in, and what I could do instead is I could just have like a tiny little gap. I mean, what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to have a tiny gap on here. We're going to bring this one across, and the edge of it is actually going to go to this point here. Like that. And then I will quite likely enlarge the lake later on. And it will fill out to that point, to this point over here. This will be the new edge of the lake rather than where it is at the moment. And then we can put a wall on top of that. And possibly even make the dam a little bit higher. We may be able to get away with making the dam higher. Which is something I wouldn't mind doing at all, actually. Bring that down to there. Down to that side like that. Now, we have got a little bit of overflow and flooding coming this way because of what I've just done. So, first up, we'll just bring this one along here. Fill in that bit. That's going to very nicely take care of any issues that we may have had. Bring that along. There we go. And then we can go back. We'll go into the power options and we'll start dealing with this power line over here. So we've got that bit there. Let's take that off. And next up, what we need to do is we want to join this power line over here. So if I go into power there and I join that one, we go up there onto the very top of the bank, and then we go up there onto the top of the bank, and we come back down and we join in. So we've got that there is all connected up, which means I can now delete all of this one, and we can build in the new, there, remove all of that. We can then build in the new banks. Yeah, take it all the way back over to there. We can build the new banks up, and we should be able to have everything coming in. Also, down here, the flooding should soon all disappear. It should all... The flood waters should recede very soon. We've got some flooding going on over here, but there's only small patches of water now. For the most part, the city is getting back on track. What I do need to do is accelerate time so that the water does what it's going to do just a little teensy bit faster than it has been. I've got issues over here with too much garbage. Tom the Yank on there, and It's No Good. Well, It's No Good seems to be doing alright with the garbage. Tom the Yank has got issues with the garbage. 1977 Rugrat has got periodic flooding here in places, which surprises me, because I thought that the flooding would actually affect this one a little bit more. But I think it's in part because, like, part of the water source for this lake now is coming from all of these effluent plants. And that's keeping the level of the water slightly higher over on this side. And, I mean, we're probably going to have to raise the level of this island at some point. There's probably going to have to be some major works done there. And you see the amount of water we got coming through here. We've made this channel very, very deep now. So that's having an effect on it. We do need to raise this up a little bit. It's a little bit low. And we've got that bit stuck out there. That's going to be filled back in again. The lake here is borderline. Look at all this. Look at all this. We've got the skate park there is operating normally. Apparently they can operate that even though it's flooded. So we do need to do something over here in order to protect this part of town. Actually, I think I'm going to do that now. We'll make a little start on protecting some of this side of the town. I'm just going to bring a bank along here. It doesn't have to go up very much. It's just that we've got a little bit of a dip right there. So it doesn't have to be anything particularly drastic. It's just a little bit like that, just to bring it up there. Along like that. There, we can even extend it out a little bit. Just like that. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. Nothing more drastic than that at the moment. All it's doing is just stopping that little trickle of water over the edge of the bank, coming down there, and then we can deal with the rest of this later on. We've got masses of water flooding in here, and then it's all coming out through the dam over here. Now, this is our big problem at the moment. We've got cars being washed away down the river here. This is terrible. Look at it. Look at this. This is terrible. They are actually getting washed away, and the water is getting deeper and deeper down here. You can see them getting washed away at the moment, but yeah. In places, they're coming up to here, and then the water is sort of... Is it coming up high enough to wash them away? Yep, there we go, look. And off they go. They're rushing off into the raging torrents. It's brilliant. Right. So we're going to have to work on that as well. But this over here, the flooding now seems to have receded. So we don't have issues with flooding. But we do have some more serious issues with flooding going on up here, which is now what I want to work on. So if I go back into this point here, we're going to bring this dam out here. This one's going to come right across here. I want to bring it and meet it to about that point there. So I'm just going to bring that up like that and do this slowly. That's why I'm leaving it on 0.4, because it does seem to have worked out better for us by doing this slowly. And there we go. Right. And then I reckon if we just bring that, we'll bring it in like that. We're not going to go any further than that, because if we can keep that as just a narrow channel, I'm kind of hoping that it's going to drastically reduce the effect of the floodwaters, and we've got like an exit point there for the water. That's what I'd like. An exit point there. Well, like an entrance point there. So some water can get through, but not very much. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know how well that's going to work out. It's probably not going to work out very well at all. Now, I want to come along over here, so I need to just bring the wall along there. We'll bring this one up. Once we've dealt with this bit over here, we'll move on round, I think, and complete this part now. I need to do it that way up, I think. Yeah, if I can get it more centered, I'll end up with a better wall along here. Bring that down through. There we go. Right. You know, if I was to go back and raise up that water source yet again, I'd have to do all this again. I don't really want to do that. Although, for the most part, it would be a lot easier to do now than the first time round, and I would just probably set the brush a little bit more savage, and we'd be able to do it in like 10 minutes. Go around the whole thing and just raise up the level of the embankments all the way through by a very, very long way. But if I keep just working this all the way round here until we get down to the sea, the next bit that we're going to need to do is lower the actual channel down from where the dam is to further out, because that's one point that we are having, like the flooding that's coming from here. This is now causing us some serious issues. All of the water is coming out of that dam rather than going anywhere else. It's kind of backing up along this river, because we've got this the same height. This wall here is the exact same height all the way around the map. Right, I can bring it to here, and then we're going to have to change the roads. We have to quite drastically change the roads as well. There's going to be some serious changes to this part. Up there. And then bring you all the way along. Okay, we've now got dams on each side. Well, I say dams. We've got embankments on each side all the way down through. And I don't think this is going to work. All that's doing is, because we've got this water now as sort of backed up a bit, it's just not going to do it. It's not going to allow... Yeah, I've either got to close that off completely, or I've got to build a new embankment along here, and I think closing it off completely is probably the best option there for that bit. In part because its slight pinch point here is causing the water to back up here, and then is forcing it out that way. I think that is to do with it. So let me just fill that one little bit in there. We'll block that right up. Fill that all in, and then it can start drying out on the other side. A little bit of a shame, because I quite like the idea of having something in there. I mean, I don't think I could do a canal either. I'm not really sure how the canal would work, but I don't think that's really going to be an option. The water's going to start to recede a little bit, and we've still got the channel down here. Maybe we can do something else with that a bit later on. I'm not quite sure. So I've got this along here, and the reason that I've brought the embankment up on both sides is so that I can, at a later point, move that wall up on top of there. We're going to extend that embankment all the way round here. We are going to need to do something up here, because this is borderline, like, just waiting to be flooded. Although up there, it's not so bad. Yeah. Right. If I just bring up the embankment on that side there. Now, I mean, the city here, this is growing back. This is going back to how we had it previously, and it's doing really well. I quite like that. It's, it seems to be repairing itself. And we can bring this here. I'll just start raising up the embankment on this side over here, and then we'll remove the trains and the roads right at the very end. So I want a wall along here to that point there. Bring that all the way out. Like that. Keep going. Right. And what we're going to do... Right. I've seen the alarm, but I don't want it to tell me any more. I don't know how you can get rid of that. There is somebody did suggest a mod that I can use. It's going to keep doing it until I choose to go and do something about it. But I don't want to do anything about it. I just want to ignore it. I want to pretend that it's not happening. Now, I've got this dam over here, and I've also got this road over here. So, I mean, like this bit here, I'm going to bring that on there, and I'm going to bring it down this way as far as I can. Let's come up to there, right? So we've come to the Cypress Bridge, and it's sort of pushed up to the very edge of it. So in the future, we might bring the dam over and just raise it up a bit so it comes to the edge of that, and then we'll do something else with it. So right now, though, we want to go from that point, and we want to bring it over here, but this is all got to come out. So if I go with the old bulldozer, first up, that one can come out. And we'll get rid of the road down to that point, and then we'll get rid of the track down to that point. All of this track has got to go because I'm going to do quite a bit of drastic movement of all of this down here. And track over here, that's going to go right back over to there. And the road as well. That's going to have to go. Take all of that out, and it's going to come all the way back over to that point there. So we've got a lot of stuff being removed. Like that. And now I can landscape it in again. So we go back into this one, and first up we just want to build this back in. Fill all of that little patch up there. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to drastically lower down everything in front of the dam. And that, I'm hoping, will allow the water to flow through the lake a little bit better. At least that's the plan. As far as I understand how dams work, the water has got to be at the base of the dam for it to work properly. And that's not a problem. We can easily get the water at the base of the dam. What I want to do here is I want to bring that out over this way a bit. Bring it up to there, yep. And I'm not going to go any higher than that. I'm just going to bring that out. But I'm also going to just fill this in a little bit over here, just because I think it might work out a little bit better for us. There. It's not like the most even, but that's fine. I don't need it to be even there. So now what we want is we want to remove a big chunk of this. So I'm going to come over here. Now we had a big old earthquake right there. That's the bottom of the sea there. But I quite like the new depth that it put it down to. So I'm going to take a slice of that, and I'm then going to come up here, and that's the new depth down there. We're also going to increase our brush strength. That's going to go up to 0.8, so I've doubled the brush strength. It's going to lower it down quite a long way there. It is dropping it quite significantly, but this is a good thing for us. And we're going to push back into there. And I got this lighthouse here. I'd actually like to keep the lighthouse. So that's going to stay there. We're going to just remove that sort of spur of land that comes out that side like that. And then all of this in here, this is all going to lower down. Like that. And it's going to lower down out through this way as well. We're going to do a bit more over here. Because this is going to come down across here. We're going to bring a line right the way down there for this. So I've got plenty of space for it, so I need to increase the brush size now. We'll go with about 250. Look at that. Now we're doing some serious hardcore earth moving. And we'll just knock all of that out like that. Right the way down to this earthquake zone. And I'll uncover all of that down there. Tell you what, I'm actually going to pause this. Then I'm going to do some more, like that. And then I want to see what happens to it after we've... we kind of let it all play out again. Oh, no. I've got to be careful of that lighthouse. Because I don't want to get rid of the lighthouse. I kind of like the idea of having that one there just on some rocks by itself. So these rocks in here, these have gone down quite deep now. They're well out of the way. They're no concern to anybody. We'll bring that in like that. So it's got a bit of a spur there. Oh, I'll tell you what. We'll put the lighthouse on an island. Lighthouses on islands, thus... You have that everywhere, all over the world. There. Bring that in like that. And then we'll bring this up here, right in towards the base of the dam. remove all of that big area there, plus all of this. So those rocks will then go right down to the bed of the river. And bring that back as well. See, it's just coming into the very edge of the embankment there. And then that's going to come over there, and I want to push back up towards the base of the dam. Like that. There. Right, now, the final bit is what we do over here, because at the moment... Actually, I don't need to worry about that. I can bring that back a little bit more. Just so that I've got like a bit of an arc coming back through. I think it's going to work a little bit better. And that does need to go out. That will just have to be moved along a little bit more. We'll bring that out there. So I've got it. What I want is plenty of space coming out from the base of the dam, so that we've got room for the sheer volume of water that's going to come through. So then we will change this brush strength down to 0.4 again. And let's have a look at this lighthouse. We want to lower that back down. We'll go to about 70 on there. And I want to just raise that a little tiny bit. So I'm going to set the height down there. And I just want to bring this up a little bit on this side. There, bring that out like that. And at the back. There, so now the lighthouse has got his own sort of little separate island. We do want to lift it up a bit. Like that. Yeah, look at that. Now we're talking. Right, we'll try it like that. I don't know if this is going to work. No idea if this is going to work, but we've got a whole load of water that's now going to, like, go and flood itself around and move. All the waves will sort of slop all over the place because we've suddenly removed all of the earth, and then you kind of let it play out again. I love it when it does this. And the lighthouse is really good up there, well out of the way. That's not going to cause any problems. And it's really, really deep down here as well, which means that that one should flow quite nicely. We've got a lot of water now that's going to go through this lake. I mean, it's actually draining out the lake pretty quick. But yeah, it's to do with the level of the water. And it's to do with the difference in height between up there and down there. That's, as you know, part of the things that affect how much power the dam produces. Now, before we get into... No, actually, we'll leave that. I was just thinking, before we, like, do too much else, did I want to, like, raise the level of the land on that side in preparation for bringing this bridge up? And no, I don't. I don't want to do that at the moment. So, down here, I've got that station is not doing anything, but that's mainly because this is flooded. But that's already drying out, and drying out pretty rapidly. So it's not going to be long before that one is back in action again, so we don't really need to concern ourselves with that. Yeah, I've got those 3 all the way out. We need to build more industrial zone. We'll get to that. And then down here, this is now starting to settle down a bit. You've got quite a steep drop coming from up there down to here, because I've made this so deep down here. It's still going to take a while for the waters to decide what exactly they want to do. But I feel this is probably steep enough down here that we don't need to worry too much more about the high embankment. I am going to bring it down to about this point. So if we just do that a second. There, and I want to set a height on that up to there. 175 is good enough. Brush size, we'll go to about 120 on there. And I'll bring the embankment along here. Let's just increase that strength up a little tiny bit. There. Right. There we go. Right, we can bring that up like that. So, and what I'd also like to do, I'm just sort of bringing this embankment out a little bit on this side, and I don't want it too much of like a skinny wall where it's got to be really high, because it doesn't look quite so good, I don't think. I just want to bring it down there, like that. And, I mean, yeah, we know that it's man-made. We know that all of this has got to be a man-made embankment, but you can still kind of make it look a little bit more natural than just a large, narrow pile of dirt. And that's what I'd also like to try and do here. In places. Not all of it. Not all of it is going to be able to have that luxury. But some of it we can sort of do like this. There. And just give some hills or something. I mean, it's not gentle, sloped hills. But I reckon it's pretty good. There. We'll bring that out. Now, the big problem we've got is that going up is not really going to work. So I'm thinking that we might need to go down and bury this under. Either that, or I need to bring that round and like have the bridge a whole bit different than it used to be. We'll worry about that in a minute. Let's just see what we can do with it at the moment and whether or not we... I'd like to be able to have it as a bridge. That's what I want. If I can have this as a bridge, that would be much, much better. I can get it to that height. I can also bring it up here. Yeah, see, it'll go up like that. Alright, let's try this. We'll bring you out to there. And we're going to bring that... That's going to come round quite sharp there. And then it's going to start travelling up like this until it gets to that point there. So it wants to be able to go back on itself. And then it's got to go over to there. And I want it straight so that we have that type of bridge, because I love that type of bridge. That type of bridge is definitely my favourite type of bridge. And then that will come in and it'll join in on there. So it's not like wonderfully straight or anything, but I think it can work. Yeah, that's really not very straight at all, but at the moment it's good enough. I'm quite happy with that. So then we'll take another one from over here and let me just get rid of that as well. And then I can bring that out like that. It's going to go to here. And then really I want to get it sort of lined up there like that. So then I've got the same bridge coming over here. But in order to get the same bridge coming over here, I've got to go all the way over to there. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I'll bring it... actually, I know what I can do. I can bring it to there like that. There. Right. There's that first bit. And then, of course, it's going to be slope too steep all the way down, isn't it? Except that I can do this. I can raise the road deliberately, and then we can lower it down to there. And then I can join it in there. Right, we got our roads joined back in, and it actually works. And look, the traffic is straight out onto that road. I mean, yes, it seems a little bit uneven in places, but it works, okay? Maybe they've put a slight speed limit on this road, because, I mean, look at that. Look at that sharp turn on there. I've been on major trunk roads that have got sharp turns on them like that, and it does work. So I'm not worried about that. And it's like, look at how big this is over here. This is insane. But I actually quite like this. I love the way that it sort of drops down through here. So I know that I've got a little bit of a pinch point, which is slowing down this water a bit. But it's still working. This here is still evaporating out. The tram line is actually getting to the point where we can use it again. But what I'll do, just to speed this little process up by a tiny bit, is if I go out to there, and then we go back into this one, and it's that one there, I'll take you, and I will join you onto there. We want to go like that. And then join you on there. So you're slightly higher up and out of the way. And then these here should now join back in. There shouldn't be anything stopping those from... oh, yes, there is. We've still got an issue over this side because we've got a little bit of flooding up here still, which is going to cause us some problems. So what we'll need to do for that, I think, is delete it right back to there. And then take that out, and it'll go over this whole embankment then. And bring it up to there. And we go back into transport. We take you and join that one onto there. Like that. That'll go up on top of that bank there. And then it'll come back down and join into there. Absolutely perfect. Right, now it should join up. Now they should start running again. There we go. They have started running again. So we've now got our tram lines back. Our monorail, I should say. Look, see, the monorails are running. We're making some progress. We are actually making some decent progress. Right. The next issue we're going to have is major flooding coming from that one. We've got the water running around here, and this is now receding, so we've got plenty of water in here. Well, we got dry land back again in here, which is what we want, as well as dry land back again over here, and down here. What have I got there? I had a symbol there somewhere. That one. What is that symbol? Abandoned. I think it's just to say that it was an abandoned building. You... Not enough goods to sell. Yeah, that's fine. And... Okay, yeah, that seems to be going well. We've got our brand new road here. This one's going right the way across. We've got our lighthouse still there, out on the island. So the only thing left to do, I've got to connect that road there, which is this type of road, just a simple road like that. So that one's going to go straight across there, and I'll take that out at 180, and that's just a bridge straight across there, and then down onto there. So there's nothing special about that one in the slightest. It could just join in like that. The other one that I do need to do is the rail here, and this one might be a little bit more tricky to get in place. Let's take you and bring that one there. So first up, I'll bring it out that way to about there, and then I've got to get it up onto the slope up here, and right, actually no, that's going to work out just fine, and then it can come down onto there as well. Okay, we've got our outside connection back on this side as well with the train. We've got some spectacular looking bridges going across it. Look at this. That's brilliant. I'd prefer it if that train, if the rail bridge was straight. The straight bridges do look far more impressive than the ones that got the bends in them. They really do. They look far, far better. So we'll be making more of these. What I'm actually thinking is we'll redesign this ever so slightly, and we'll run sort of move the roads here so we go straight from TH here, and we're going a straight line all the way across over to here, and then have it running back down again. This bit here, I may even do that in as a loop. I'm not quite sure. I mean, maybe we could redesign that a bit and have the bridge coming over to here so it's easier to join in. That might work. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, we've got plenty of traffic flowing across that, and all the water is flowing down here. I think we've done well. We've actually completed it. We've got everything done. There's no more flooding anywhere that we don't want flooding at the moment. It's right on the very brink right there, admittedly, and it's going to potentially cause us some serious issues. But right now, we don't have flooding anywhere that we don't want flooding. There's one more thing we've got to do to complete this task, and then we can say that we have actually done it. We've done everything that we set out to do with this little job that we began quite some time ago. Join it onto there and then join that into there. There we go. That's the power line connected back on there, so we've got a little bit of redundancy on that bit. It's done. We've connected everything in all the way round the whole city. We've got a major spaghetti junction for trains up here, but it's now working in such a way that we don't have trains queued all the way back up to there. They are all flowing through. They can go where they need to go. They can take their shortcuts where they need to take their shortcuts. So if they're coming into the station, they can come in. If they're heading up that way, if they're just bypassing these stations, they can head out that way. Yeah, probably some of these bits of track I don't actually need. Well, yeah, I don't know. I reckon we're using most of these bits of track on here. Almost every one of them is getting trains going across them. I have got a ton of lorries coming in and out of here, so I am thinking that maybe we should have a second station here. We've got two stations working over here, and it looks like both of them are actually working full-time. We've got lorries queuing into and out of that one and that one. I mean, the traffic over here is pretty grim, but that's mostly because the traffic in this area here is appalling. And we're not doing anything about that. We don't intend to do anything. We've never had any plans to change that. We've got a few incineration plants on this side, and we will do more incineration plants, I think, to help take care of the garbage here. If they want the garbage taken care of, it's fine. We'll take care of the garbage. May not be exactly how they wanted us to do it, but it's going to be done. Over this side, our landfills are filling up again, and I'm thinking now that instead of continually repeating the same process over and over, we'll remove all of these and we'll start changing them for incineration plants. So we'll build 50 incineration plants in a big block right here, but I'm not sure how to do it. I'm kind of wondering whether I should, like, landscape something here first. Now, we've got to remember that this is the rich part of town. And the rich part of town is not going to want to see a very large incineration plant. So maybe we should dig a big hole and put all the incineration plants down in a big hole. Which I quite like the idea of doing that. I really do. We have a road that sort of circulates around the outside of the pit coming up. And just have this massive, great big hole that is, yeah, it's going to be pumping out a lot of pollution, but it's going to be deep inside this hole. And then nothing else got to worry. And obviously, if there's any flooding, it's going to immediately fill that up, and then we've got no garbage disposal. So maybe we could do, like, another area of that as well. I mean, of course, the other option is I was thinking, you know, we could raise the level of the land up. But I don't really like the idea of that, because it's an eyesore then for the good citizens of Wealthy Town to have a look at, and they don't want to be looking at eyesores. But anyway, that's all we got time for today. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.